Hello everyone. My name is ToolSin. Welcome to the CNFT.tools Discord server. I'm here with the team from Ada Ninjas, who are pretty flipping awesome for getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to come and speak to us all. If Ninja Chaz would like to introduce yourself and the rest of the team, and yeah, we can go from there.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, Toolsin. Appreciate it, mate. And it is good to be here. Well worth waking up at 5 in the morning. My name's Zushan. I am the one of the co-founders of Ada Ninjas, the COO, and I've got Blades here, who is the other co-founder, and I'll let you introduce yourself, Blades.
Yeah, morning, evening, everyone. Blades here, also known as Tommy, CEO. Excited to be here, actually. We're doing a round of AMAs just before our launch of season three, and yeah, would love to let people know all the updates, but then also answer anyone's questions that they have.
Yeah, I mean, sounds awesome. I like to start off with just getting a little bit of background info, like how did you guys meet and what you brought both of you guys into Cardano and everything, and just move on from there, I guess.
Uh, so Zishan and I, we actually met through a government role back in 2018. We actually were housed together in a short-term accommodation because we both moved from Sydney to Canberra, Australia for this role. And I guess that's when we first met. And at that time, we weren't even talking about crypto. We were talking about just your traditional, um, e-commerce, entrepreneur type of stuff, right? Whether it be a podcast, whether it be running a small e-commerce business. And at that time, I was going out partying a lot. Zishan was focused on his sports media business, and I think at one point we just connected in the crypto space, right? Zishan introduced me to crypto, and then I got deep into the rabbit hole and eventually introduced him to NFTs. And yeah, next thing you know, here we are as co-founders, running a massive, you could say operation.
Let's be honest, Tommy. Neither of us were thinking of business back then. We were just having fun and partying and doing all sorts of nonsense.
Well, that was me, mate. That was definitely me.
So, both of you guys from Australia or New Zealand or somewhere around that area?
Yeah, so I mean, I've lived between Australia and Dubai for all of my life. Um, 12 years, 12, 13 years now in Australia, about 18 years in Dubai. So I've lived all across Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney, and now Canberra. And Tommy is from he's a true blue Aussie, mate. That's how you put it, right? He's a Sydney sider. So yeah, we're very much settled in Australia. Been here a while. I don't have the accent because I grew up in Dubai, so it's a little yeah, different there.
For sure. So, what attracted you guys to? How did you end up going from quote unquote messing about in crypto to deciding to make your NFTs and then carrying on from there, as it were? Because obviously you guys have been fairly successful so far, to say the least.
Uh, I think a lot of things happened, and the stars aligned. We connected with the right people, and fortunately enough, we had a strong vision that allowed us to I guess uh, get funding from the community, all right, to deliver. When we started this project, I was down, in terms of my portfolio, crypto portfolio was down about 50-60%. And so, I had to reset and look at different opportunities in I guess looking after myself at that time. But Uh, yeah, when we, you know, conceptualized in September 2021, Zushan and I didn't know much about NFTs, but we knew how to run projects, and so naturally we just fit into these two roles because, the NFT scene, it allowed us to connect with the right people, find the right resources to deliver on some of the roadmap items, and I think with the community side of things, we didn't really expect to grow this much this quick. But we had to adapt real quick and be agile. And when the community came through and helped us sell out the first season, it was just a matter of, all right, now we got to deliver. And being project managers, this is what we do on a daily basis. And yeah, we're here today with many verticals and different products, and we're in a very happy position in terms of what we've been able to achieve and deliver.
Yeah. So, did you guys do the art yourself, or did you go out and find an artist? And kind of jumped ahead a little bit there. So, like, which came first, the idea for NFTs, or well, I guess that sort of came first. But ninjas, why ninjas? Why not, apes like everybody else is doing, or banana skins, or whatever comes to fancy?
Um, maybe we should have done Ninja Apes, you know?
I mean, it'd have been
But
copied a dozen times by now if you had done.
yeah. Well, if back in September it would have been considered super early, right? Um, but no, look, I think Tommy and I, when we were conceptualizing this idea, and we had dabbled a little bit in NFTs on Ethereum, flipped a bit, and we came across, well, we had bags of Cardano, and we were like, oh, well, there are NFTs on Cardano. Why don't we go down this route? Because we like the blockchain and so on. And we essentially thought, what is something that would make us really happy and we think there is a market for in the long term within this space? And that's manga anime NFTs, right? So that was something that was super important to us. And then, of course, ninjas are something that align really well with that manga anime style of stuff. And that's why we went down that route. Of course, we love things like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Bleach, all that kind of stuff. Older anime as well, newer anime and manga as well. And we just thought, I think this is what we want our story to be about. And then I think the other thing you were mentioning, ToolSin, was the artist. So yeah, we have some incredible artists on our team. We had conceptualized the story of Ada Ninjas. Of course, story is the priority for us always. It's probably the most important thing. We conceptualized that first and then went about finding the right artist. And we've been quite lucky to get V on board. He is our OG artist. He's been with us from the very start. And he does our NFT art. And then we've also got our manga artists, Juan and Artie.
Yeah, that's quite the team there. I mean, how did you go about finding them? Was it, did you commission pieces and then take the best, or because I mean, a lot of projects hit Fiverr first before realizing that's a bad idea.
Yeah, we definitely didn't go onto Fiverr. We went onto various, I guess, outsourcing or freelancing websites, um, and just sort as many artists as possible to create a unique artwork for us. We ran a few contests. We were on Upwork, we were on Freelancer. We were reaching out to a lot of our internal networks to understand, okay, in this layering structure of I guess design, can you guys do it? And then we just so happened to come across V, and V was excellent. He was a perfect fit. He understood, I guess, the scope quite well. and he was super excited to work with us. And at that time, it was just we just made it happen. What was the crazy part was I think V did all the season one work within a matter of 3 weeks. That's how excited he was, or we were. But he was like, I'm gonna get done for you guys. This is awesome stuff. And to see your creation, in the layered form, become an entire collection. I think that was really rewarding for the entire team because it was first time we've done these things, and we had to find, I guess, the programmer to write the script for us as well to support us in delivering that. And I just loved how we all came together as a team, to kind of say, okay, we need to get be done by 4 weeks, and everyone made it happen.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty awesome. And I mean, as much as I was asking about how you found the artist, it's also I'd also be interested in how you went about finding the devs, because I think for a lot of people, it's quite difficult to imagine hiring somebody for a position you know very little about.
Absolutely. I think that's a good question, right? Because a lot of people don't really understand what's involved when they first get into, I guess, the NFT scene as a dev. But again, like I said, I think the stars aligned because one of the first few contacts we got with was NFT Maker Pro, and we shared with them our vision at that time. It was just notes on Notion, about certain ideas, certain themes, and NFT Maker were like, yes, you guys are onto something. I think that you guys have a good real vision that you can work towards. What you've said to us in the past half an hour. We believe that you can be a good project, and I think those words coming from NFT Maker just allowed us to kind of push this as hard as we can, because I don't think without them we would have had launched a project, right? Because they were the key people in helping us with the minting process, and then also onboarding us, you can say, as to some of the more technical, educational pieces.
Yeah, I mean it's always very nice when somebody who knows what they're doing gives you that thumbs up and say, yeah, we think it's good and that you're onto something. It's quite the boost.
Yeah, and look, we don't give enough credit to NFT Maker Pro, right? As a team, we did do a mistake, in regards to the minting of season one. But NFT Maker Pro as a whole, they've supported us through thick and thin. They've also opened up their networks to us and have referred to us a lot of great people. The storyteller Ignacio, being one of them, and before we had to scale down our business, our head of marketing Daria as well. So the network is when people say why work with NFT Maker Pro, and what I would say is that you get access to some of their networks, and that's a valuable resource in this space.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. In Cardano in general, actually, I've found that everybody's very willing to be open about everything and share ideas, and everybody's also very more than willing to jump in and help. Whether it's an introduction or sitting down bashing away at a keyboard for 5 hours, everybody's always willing to do their bit for the cause, which is very refreshing.
I wanted to expand on that a little bit as well because yesterday Zushan and I, and Chris from Entity Maker were having a conversation, and we were like, even though we are bearish in terms of market sentiment, the Cardano community, you know, hasn't been impacted to the degree of other blockchains. For example, with Ethereum, right? Because in Ethereum right now, even big like mid tier or like top tier projects aren't selling out or aren't minting out their projects. Whereas on Cardano, there is still a lot of faith and support from the community, and we saw it with some of the more recent projects. And I think Introverts is a really good example to use here in that yes, there were even the minting process had some issues, but as a project as a whole and as a community, we still supported their projects by via the minting process, and it's a really good thing to see when the overall sentiment is really poor, but yet the community is coming together and still going through, I guess, the traditional process of selling out projects, right? And that's that's belief in the system. That's belief in the devs. That's belief in where we're heading towards. And just the other day, I picked up a space bud myself, and for me, it's like now is the time. So got to get in and support everybody, in this ecosystem as well.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, it's been quite interesting since I recently started doing the daily recaps for the tool server. And in the, I think I started, I want to say I started like, a week, maybe two before Snoop Dogg made his splash with Claymates. And it's quite interesting to know that even though we've had all the bearish sentiment and the market's done what the market's done, we're still actually like the floor on the uh, market volume is still above what it was on a good day pre Snoop when I started doing the recaps. And I'm aware that it dropped off a little bit before I started writing the recaps, but we're actually in a surprisingly good position compared to to some other chains and everything else, and with everything going on.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree, and I think that's testament to to the Cardano community and the blockchain as a whole, right? Because people are willing to go in, buy the projects that they want to buy, get into sort of NFTs. Like we've seen new people coming in already. Like even with our upcoming season 3 drop, I've seen a bunch of people on our server say, "Hey, this is the first." Um, Cardano NFT that I've bought, and that's just testament to the community as a whole because I think it wouldn't be possible per se without them being bullish about what is being built on Cardano.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the community sentiment everywhere is just outstanding compared to global events and everything else going on. It's something I'm privileged to witness. I think personally, but yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a little sidetrack, but we should probably talk about Ada Ninjas a little bit more at some point. So, how long did it take you to get from from concept stage through to minting your first NFT?
4 weeks it took. Zishan, you can go through the process. It was a very roller coaster ride for us. Even on mint day and just a bit after. But I'll let you go have this one.
Yeah, yeah, it was we come up with the basic idea, just having a conversation over sort of dinner. And then, Tommy and I talked about, hey, look, we don't necessarily have the skills to go in and create, or rather the development skills on the blockchain, right? So we got to find the right people, and I think it was Tommy doing some research, and he's like, "Yo, look at NFT Maker. Let's get in touch with them." Like he mentioned, we had a whole Notion page set up with all sorts of details and information on what Ada Ninjas is going to be about. We've got our 3 clans. They all had different names at that time, that kind of thing. But the basic premise was exactly what it is to date. And, in the meantime, we started looking for artists, like Tommy mentioned, and we found V, who is incredible. And we had been researching really, really hard as to how the whole process of this works, what layering entails, what that's all about when you're doing an auto generated collection, that kind of thing. And it was a whirlwind because we released our Discord server, and our Discord grew significantly faster than our Twitter. And, for example, Meta G Don's Coyote is here. Shout out to him. He's one of the first 100 members to ever get into the Ada Ninjas Discord. And if
Wow.
you go all the way, yeah, you go all the way back then, we went from 100 to like a few thousand in a matter of days, and we were like, whoa, this is like I don't know what's happening. And then we were like, wait, let's try to get people from here to go and actually follow our Twitter as well. So it was strange and it was organic because Tommy and I would literally be sitting on our computers with, 6 or 7 different Discord accounts in 200 different servers each, finding their shill channels and posting those shill
Yeah.
tweets, posting those shill Discord messages with like, join Ada Ninja's upcoming manga collection, blah, blah, blah. So we were doing this like, 6, 7 hours a day,
Yeah.
each of us. And that, I think, when we look back at that, we're like, yo, we've come a long way, and this is how organic community is built, in my opinion. You never, whoever says, oh, you need to pay for a few retweets and stuff when you start off your project. No, we did this when, and obviously, anyone at Tools knows this really well that back in the day, you didn't have like 10 projects coming out a day. You barely had like 5 a week,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
yeah, and prior to when we launched, it was even less. So it was harder. The community was smaller, but if you're genuinely creating something and you're putting in the hours, you're doing the grunt work. You're going in and shilling on Discord. That's something I today I can't even say that I would have the time for, right? But you got to start at that point, and I'm so glad that we did because we learned we've learned everything about the business bottom up, all the way from, shilling on Discord servers to making strategic decisions as to, say, launching our game or launching our token. So that's a very large array of things that we've been able to do ourselves within Ada Ninjas. And I think this is the incredible thing about this NFT space, right? If you do things right, you can have people come in and run a project who would never in their lives fathom being a part of board meetings at the age of like say 25, or in my case I'm like 30, to go and make decisions with essentially partners in huge multinational corporations. But that's what we're doing because we are startups, right? And we are working with people all across the world to make this happen.
Yeah, I mean I mean there's so many very interesting stories out there about how people get involved and everything like that, and it's always nice to hear somebody else's, you know.
For sure.
So you said like the art was completed relatively quickly. How long did the process with NFT Maker and everything take to get sorted out uh, before Mint? I mean, I've had a little look at NFT Maker myself, and it's kind of Greek to me. Not gonna lie.
It was Greek to us too, mate. Don't you worry. I think we made a executive decision to hand over, I guess, the backend solution to NFT Maker Pro, and they handled everything to for us in regards to even setting up the front end website for us. Um, because at that time they partnered with Leaf Agency to support delivering the website. We could have done it ourselves because Zishan and I have backgrounds in web building, in WordPress and maybe not the Web3 side, and but we also said that we may not have the time to do this stuff, right? Because we have so much other things and other priorities that we're working on. So we made a decision to hand over, I guess, for them to deliver. And yeah, they look after the uploading of the collection. They look after I guess the metadata structure. Um, Basically, they're a one-stop shop for us in making the collections happen.
Yeah, I mean that's very cool, and it, it takes a lot of trust to hand over such a large part of your project to people that you've not, well, you've spoken to, but you've never met for sure.
Yeah, and each time we, release a season, they've created a custom solution for us.
Oh,
And
nice.
the example of this current season, season three, is we wanted a scaling percentage discount based on how many ninjas you hold, right? And they said, "Look, at the moment we don't have that, but you know what? I think this is a good opportunity for us to implement it, right? So not only are they building their, I guess, skill set in terms of the NFT maker platform, they're creating custom solutions for us, which is only better for the community, not only for our community, but as a overall community.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's nice to be at the forefront of the technology that's going to be rolled out to other projects in the future. That's for sure. Nice to say that you were there first. So, how long was there between season one and season two?
So I think season one was October and then season two was February. So there's a bit of time. What is that, like 4 or 5 months? So that was all right. It wasn't too bad, but yeah, and then now season three in May, which is well in 2 days.
Yeah, it's a nice little spread there.
Yeah, look, we promised 3 seasons from the very start, and each of the clans that we have, and as the community came in, we quickly saw that people resonated with a lot of the clans in different ways, and there's a lot of fun clan banter going on. I know that I get into the clan banter quite a bit, but the whole aspect of it is, for people to come in and have fun. So there's none of the, oh, this is like uh, Tommy and Zushan are the developers, so we need to respect them or something of that sort. Like none of that nonsense, right? It's I come in, I shill my clan, and then, for example, we've got Apex Ninja's Willow in here, who's not going to tolerate me ever shilling my clan. So he'll jump in and be like, "Hey, I've got to get rid of this propaganda and make sure that it's not the case." Because Zushan's been talking a whole lot of rubbish about the Daisuke clan, so he'll come in and he'll rep his clan, that kind of thing. So it's a lot of fun, and that's what we really, really love about it, and I think that resonates with a lot of the community as well.
Sweet. So tell me a little bit about the different clans. There's three of them, you said?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Tommy, did you want to take that one?
Yeah, three clans. Um, when we conceptualized, we said, uh, what are some of the concepts coming through Japanese anime and manga that can really fit in what we're doing, right? And we decided, yes, we're going to do clans. They're going to be three separate clans that each have their own identity, that you can say. So the first clan is the Arama clan, which is the clan that I'm a part of. They're the nicknamed the guardians of and the protectors of Nineveh. You know, if you look at some words that that kind of show their personality, it's about loyalty, trust, integrity. And then you have the second clan that we released, which is the Atsuko Clan. So they're the underbelly clan of Nineveh. They roam the shadows. You think about mad scientists, people dealing in necromancy, the Yakuza clan. People consider this clan to be the underdog. You have to wait and see what happens in the story. But there's a lot of, I guess, interest in this clan at the moment. And then now, of course, there's the Daisuke clan, the third clan that we're releasing. So they're the nomads of Nineveh. They like to roam the outskirts and live independently. We're yet to showcase their story, But some people call them tree huggers. Some people call them people that are more about the environment, sustainability, shamanism and tribalism as well. So some very interesting concepts that we're trying to introduce from a role playing element, and it's really great to see that the community is actually attaching on to some of these personalities and making it their own.
Yeah, and the Daisuke, very simply, are the best.
So is it each season is one clan, or are the clans split between each seasons? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so each season represents one of the clans. The first one was the Aramar, the second one was the Atsuko, and the one that's coming up is the Daisuke. So that's the complete trifecta, and yeah, that sort of leads to or concludes the drops, the sort of large mints that we'll be doing for the clan. So then that's yeah, Daisuke is the final one, which is why we've obviously picked up the art even further this time around.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking. I've just been showing the website for the YouTube recording, and I've scrolled through the season one and the season two NFTs. You can definitely see a difference in the style, and I don't want to do down the person that did. I don't want to do down season one, but season two does look better. And obviously, I'm sure everyone's expecting season three to kick the arse off both season one and season two.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one, right? Because art is so subjective. We get a lot of people saying we like season two better, we like season one better, but the fact is that they're very different manga anime art styles. So season one is very much the shonen art style, which is what you'd find in, the more teenage focused anime and manga like Naruto and Bleach and that kind of thing. And then when you move to season two, it's the seinen style, and that's very much like Attack on Titan, sort of the more grittier vibe, but also the way that they're made. Season one is vector art, season two is more sort of strokes, brush strokes, that kind of thing. And then with season three, of course, they're all completely, animated.
Oh
They're a
wow!
mix of both. Yeah, so all 8,888 will be animated, and all of them will have music attached as well. And basically, when you go in and mint an NFT, you will be receiving the MP4 file with the music. You'll be receiving the HD PNG version. You'll be receiving the GIF and the, what did I miss? And the music. So you'll be getting four in one essentially when you do mint the NFT. But so we've wanted to push the art, but we are and never have been just solely a PFP project because we've got a lot more going on, and that's why we recently dropped our white paper 2.0, the trailer for our upcoming game, and of course the Ninjas token, which is on its way as well.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like a lot in the works there. So tell us a bit about the game. What sort of game is it? And yeah, pretty much that. What sort of game is it, and what do you need to do? And do I get to kill things with lots of blood?
So what we are trying to do is bring an increased interactive nature of our the world of Nineveh, and the play to earn game that we are releasing is just the next phase or next step on the evolution of 18 Ninjas. It is a 3D action, you can say hack and slash, but it will be isometric, and we're doing things a bit differently here. We're scaling our game development to go from single player to multiplayer to then to competitive play, and then introduce a social space environment, which is our mini metaverse play. Um, there will be blood to a degree, and you will be competing against either other enemies in terms of humanoids or monsters in that environment. Yesterday we were just showcased. Um, so yeah, so people will be battling in arenas. So this is a short stints of gameplay that you can complete, and the beauty of these arenas is that they are randomly generated. So each game each game you play will never be the same, right? I think there's a total of like 2 billion potential, I guess, generated maps
Dang.
that we can output, right? So that's one. This is one unique selling proposition that we're focused on, and it means that people don't play the same map over and over again, right? You're playing a different map, a very similar structure. So maybe it's like can kill or beat as many all the enemies that show up, or it might just be a different structure where it's like survive for as long as possible. So we're still playing with some of these concepts, but that's the basic premise of it is that you as a ninja can go into different arenas and you'll be competing against I guess the other players. There is a secondary layer, which is the clan wars element, where the clans will be competing against each other in taking over provinces, provinces, provinces. I think
Provinces.
provinces,
Provinces,
province.
yeah.
I must be still waking up, but yeah, it's one of those things where that interactive layer introduces a whole different level of gameplay. And once we get this, I guess, dynamic right, this is when we'll start introducing the actual tokenomics of the game, which will allow people to start earning rewards in terms of a ninja's currency token. And that will, yeah, that will hopefully bring in the masses when it comes to people outside of either Cardano or, any ninjas.
Very nice. So, is it going to be the kind of game where you're going to need low reaction times, or is somebody that's a little bit longer in the tooth with like myself with a slightly slower PC? Will they be able to take part and be competitive?
Yeah, so it's all web based at this point in time. You will be logging on through a Cardano Nami wallet connection, and that's where I guess the backend solution stores the data. But there will be a level of skill required. Um, but this is the beauty, right? There will be room and games that support a more casual type of play. So you don't have to always be competitive once you log on and play. But there are elements. For example, Clan Wars isn't uh, a thing that's on all the time that you can participate on. You need Clan Wars tickets to actually enter the space. Because the reason why we do that is because we don't want competitive people to compete and then I guess share the leaderboards or scores with people that are just there to have fun, right? Because you might get complaints that there's people that aren't playing to try to win, and so that's why we're breaking it up between I guess the more casual play versus the competitive play.
Yeah, I mean that's good for an old boy like me to hear. I do try to play these high skill, low reaction time games. It just doesn't usually end well for me. So
There's something for everyone, and that's why we're sort of developing it that way. You serious gamer, you can go in and really challenge yourself and compete with others in the future. And if you just want to go in and have some fun, that's also an option.
nice. So I mean, does that mean you'll have like leaderboards and stuff like that, and rankings and everything as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
Very nice. And how far in the future do you hope that this will come to fruition? Because obviously, it's not a small project.
Yeah, yeah. So, one of the things that we always try to do at Ada Ninjas is deliver the first version of whatever vertical it is that we're working on very quickly, and then work with the community to build on it. So, in our white paper, we've talked about what we have coming up, and the alpha version of the game will be available, very, very shortly. So we're not talking months, we're talking weeks. and you'll have to just connect your Nami wallet, and you'll be able to go in and play and try out the game. But it won't have token integration and all of that just yet. However, this will be an opportunity first for us that we want to show people that look, we're interested in building this game as a game that you can go in and enjoy more than anything. And then all the other elements of it come in because if the game is not enjoyable, what's the point of integrating anything else into it? And then we've got a bunch of phases in our white paper that we've noted where we'll start scaling up the game. So the second step will be to bring on the blockchain assets, the token integration, items as NFTs, and so on. And then eventually, I think at phase 4 or 5, we're looking at sort of the mini metaverse thing that Tommy was talking about. So it's going to be in phases, but the alpha itself is really not that far away.
Well, that's really quite exciting to hear, actually. Um, it's quite a common thing in the NFT world to hear game, play to earn, play to have fun, play to this, and it will be released in the year 3024.
Yeah. Um, yeah, look, and I can understand that from certain projects because they need to receive the funds to make it happen, right?
Yeah,
We've obviously waited for this announcement to for a few key reasons. One, to make sure that, of course, we have the funding, which obviously we do based on everything we've done, and then we've got the token launch as well, which is going to be a key player in us bringing in external people outside of sort of the ninjas community and the ninjas fam, and even outside of Cardano. And the other reason that we've waited is so that we knew that everything we're doing is being done right rather than announcing the game and then working towards it. We thought, let's start building the game, make it really good, and then announce that, yeah, this is coming very, very soon and it's going to have all these things.
yeah. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, it's nice not to be spending months waiting for something and waiting for something. That's for sure. Rather the here it's coming and here it is. So, I mean, what's been the hardest part of that process for you? Because obviously, there's a huge amount that goes into game development. Um, you know, was the balancing particularly difficult? And like, do the traits of the different ninjas in your wallet have any effect? What effects do they have in the game?
There are so many elements and layers to this answer, and it's a really great question, right? Because to do a game properly, you need the right people. We were fortunate enough to get a indie game developer who created, Orbital Bullet, right, which is a 2D side scroll, but set in a 3D type of world. And they have helped us tremendously in understanding game mechanics, right? So each time we have an idea, they said, "Yep, that works, but think of this mechanic, or think of, I guess, the unintended
Yeah,
consequences," right? I think balancing will come in the near term as we get, introduce more and more elements. So, for example, one of the initial questions were, okay, should we have jump? Should we have double jump? And then how does that interact with the gameplay? And should we have dash as well, right? So these are some of the things where we're still trying to understand because we haven't fully played in terms of that PvP environment to get that balancing. And obviously, there's a with a PvE, there's AI balancing as well in terms
yeah,
of their skill set. So it's still a work in progress. It will forever be a work in progress, right? That balancing act. The second layer would be the tokenomics, right? Because once we introduce a token economy, it kind of has a mind of itself. So how do we ensure there's enough supply and not enough of a supply shock when we introduce some of these tokens to the community and kind of let it ride? So we have an economist, who also did the end maker token. Tokenomics, and he's come on board to support us in delivering this as well. So we have conversations almost daily as to how to further improve this ecosystem. But I don't think until you push a button and it's out there that you really truly know what's the how much demand's going to come through, or if people are have belief in the system, so they hold the coin, for example.
Yeah, I mean it's hard enough to balance a game, let alone three different versions of the same game, which is effectively what you're doing when you talk about PvE versus PvP versus MMO or whatever else you want to do. And what might work really well in a PvE environment might either not work at all in a PvP environment, leaving that person feeling quite helpless, or it might be the other way around, and it could be completely overpowered in PvP and then a bit meh in PvE. Like, do you have a focus of if you have to make the choice between which you're most keen to balance on, is it going to be PvP or PvE?
I think it will be PvP, right? Because PvP is introducing the clan wars environment back into the community base. So, if Zishan's saying Daisuke is the best clan, well, you need to show up to the game, right? And you need to go against your Arama and Atsuko, members, and see and put your words to action, right? So this is some of the banter that we want to bring through, and PvP will be that environment in the game. So that balancing act is really important, not just for that role playing aspect, but then also the competitive play, because then the stakes will be higher. Balancing is a lot more important because it needs to be fair in terms of the gameplay for all, and just coming down to skill to win the game. So yeah, to your question, absolutely.
Are you challenging me to a battle in the game, Tommy? Because if that's what's up, I'm all in, man.
We look, we can when the time comes, let's do a one-on-one tournament. So I got you, mate.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to stream that one, I think.
For sure, for sure. We'll get the third upper management team representative EJ on as well for the Atsuko, and then we can have like a triple threat match, that kind of thing. And then the storyteller who refuses to pick a clan will, sort of be the referee. So I think that's perfect.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fun actually. Sorry, a little bit of a smoker's cough there. So, I mean, going back to season three, what what do you think is the biggest differences between season three and seasons one and two? Like,
So,
aside from the clan and everything like that.
so I guess you're asking sort of like from a utility specific perspective, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so there are two different elements of utility that we have for each of the NFT collections, and these vary between two different verticals. The first vertical is the sort of manga, comic, and animation, anime series kind of stuff, which is voting on story. So for example, season one RMR, you get 2x governance voting. Season two, Atsuko, you sort of get 2x voting on world creation, that kind of thing. And then the other aspect of utility is what we've, excuse me, have just announced with relation to the token and the game. So all three clans will be receiving, first up, a one-time airdrop of the Ninjas token. So that's as a thank you from all of us. However, it varies between each clan as to which clan will receive more and which clan will receive less. Um, so, okay, let me go over the utilities first, and then I'll explain how they vary between the clans. So the three elements are first a one-off airdrop of token to all the Ninjas holders. Second, following that, we will have a claiming function. Not too dissimilar to, interestingly, because Yumi Universe launched theirs and we obviously didn't know anything about it. So it's quite similar to that in that, you'll go onto our website, you'll be able to stake your NFT, sorry, you'll be able to claim an amount of Ninja's token. And the reason we're making it a claim is so that, the token doesn't end up in dead wallets, and we sort of reward people who are actively participating in the process. So, you go onto our website for every quarter, you'll be able to claim some of the Ninjas token based on how many Ninjas you have in your wallet. And then following that, you will be able to do it again the next quarter. However, whatever remains from the Ninjas token will be transferred over to the next vesting period, essentially. Then the third aspect is the NFT staking. So you'll be able to stake your NFT and you'll receive token. Again, all the clans will get these perks. However, the value of how much Ninja's token you'll get in return will differ based on the clan. And this ties in with our story. So the Arama will get the most or the highest percentage of airdropped token and claimable token, because they're like the guardians, the elite clan. They work closely with the government of Nineveh, so it makes sense. The Daisuke, which is the upcoming clan, they'll get the least via the claiming and airdrop. However, by staking your NFT, they will get the most Ninjas token in return. Why? Because they're sort of the nomadic, collectivist, community-based clan, sorry, and they work together and they're super tribal, that kind of thing. So they will receive the highest return from the NFT staking, and the Atsuko will be at the middle point for both of those options. However, the Atsuko sort of being, like, as Tommy put it, the Yakuza-ish clan of our world, every month or so, they'll be able to go onto our website once this is ready, or in the game rather, and claim a loot box and just have to pay the dust fees. So what that means is they'll be able to go in, and this loot box is something you'll have to buy otherwise, but it'll give you a bunch of random items in the game that'll give you either like a temporary boost or some sort of skin to show off. So if you've ever played, the Ultimate Team in FIFA, you can buy those packs, and you may end up getting like a Ronaldo or a Messi, and that's what people are sort of after. So similarly, that's how the loot box will work. So the Atsuko will be the only ones with that perk. This way, all three clans get rewarded, but each one has, an advantage in one aspect of the token or game. I hope that made sense and it wasn't like super
No, no,
convoluted.
that made perfect sense. So much so it doesn't really leave a lot of questions, unfortunately.
Okay, good. I'm glad, but yeah, ask away, mate.
I did just want to make sure everybody knows, if anyone has any questions that they want to ask that I miss, or we don't get around to, post them into NFT chat on the Discord server, and we'll get to them as soon as we're able. So, I believe you're doing a comic. Is that just an online comic, or is there going to be physical copies available for purchase, or is it is there plans for it to be more like a cartoon thing, or what?
So, yeah, we do have a comic that we are releasing on a fortnightly basis. We're pushing for about 20 pages every fortnight. We've done the first volume, which is the Arama origin story of how the clan came to be. Now we've started on the second volume, the first volume of the Atsuko origins. And With the first volume, we have already released a special edition, I guess 110 copies only of the physical manga, and we've partnered with NFTL to develop this, which allows people to mint a certificate of authenticity, authentication to show that this is a rare piece and it's a collectible item that they can kind of keep and store, and someday we hope that this will have a really high value because it's the first of what we're doing. We do hope to look at bigger distribution platforms, but one of the things we've said to ourselves is that when the manga is ready to be distributed, it needs to be an evergreen product. And what I mean by evergreen is that once we get that distribution out, that's from now until the I guess the manga story has finished, that there always has to be demands coming through. And how do we do that? I think once we build enough of an IP or a universe that gathers adoption outside this space, it will only be fitting for us to do that, because distribution of actual hard copy books isn't as efficient. It's actually quite costly because you're
Yeah.
talking in terms of high volume, right? So we need to get that right before we even expend funds in that operational environment, because yeah, the last thing we want is to kind of go through a big publisher and then not make any sales through that. But we are working on that, absolutely.
Had a question come through from MetaG Don's Coyote. As tokenomics come into play with the game, how does the team plan on handling in-game issues with the token, which will be tradable on a DEX eventually? For example, what if a player pays for a temporary upgrade, but the upgrade is bugged or cancelled by another ability? How will issues like this be solved when people eventually invest their fiat and crypto into the game?
Yeah, what we will do is, before we implement full scale tokenomics, we will simulate the entire game environment. And I think there has to be a level of, I think bugs and glitches and stuff are bound to happen, right? It
Yeah,
happens in uh,
guaranteed. Absolutely
all
guaranteed.
yeah, it happens in all AAA games, and that's just the nature of gaming development. So it's just a matter of, okay, if for example we simulate it and we go, okay, what if this happens? What if that happens? And how do we handle it? As long as we have a good, I guess, framework or workflow that allows us to maybe tap into some of the treasury funds to support some of those issues, we can manage that. The last thing we and this is a really good example as well, right? We had a discussion just recently about, okay, how do we keep our game secure, in the sense that if someone were to cheat the system, how quickly can we notice that? And one thing we're actually implementing, even in the alpha, is that we need checks and balances. And one of that is the attack damage. So, for example, if I don't know if I should be saying this, but because it's recorded. But let's say, for example, someone decides to cheat the system and they can 5x their attack damage,
Yeah,
right? That's so far out of the norm that our system can actually pick it up straight away, in the sense that someone's actually doing something that they shouldn't be doing, or we're actually recording data that's very outside, and it's an outlier, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it'll ping us immediately when things like this happen, because the last thing we want to do is this bug is going around and this person or a group of people is taking advantage of it. So absolutely, we're having these conversations to ensure that we have the back end solution to fix it immediately and catch upon it. But then also, how do we support those who have done wrong? And I don't have a specific answer to this. It's just a matter of risk management for the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlike it's highly unlikely that you'll be able to release a bug-free game, or even keep a bug-free game bug-free after a while anyway, with all the different updates and everything that goes on. But I think it's when you have the support of the community and the player base, it does make those issues so much easier to deal with. Sorry, question from Dom. Can we expect the spaces to be Aid the Ninja's response to Animal Crossing with similar level of customization? And do you plan on having project-led events on the bigger space islands, i.e., concerts or music releases or quote-unquote meetings?
Yeah, that's a that's a good question. Um, Absolutely. So these spaces, I'm not too familiar, to be honest, with Animal Crossing. I think I've played it like once. But from what I understand of that game, yes, you will be able to sort of customize the spaces. You'll be able to fill them in with certain things that you want to add in, show off your NFTs, so on and so forth, and some certain interactive elements as well. And then moving on to the islands that Dom talks about. Yes, it'll be a culmination of both. So events like um, meetings to start off, or small sort of events to chat, and then eventually move down that route of you know, bigger sort of events. Of course, when you talk about something like music releases or concerts, there are great projects that are already doing that kind of thing, and we don't want to who are focused on that as their primary or core product, right? We talk about like
Yeah.
Future Fest, and those guys are great. And what they're doing is significantly focused on that side of things. We don't really want to, go in and create something that's similar to that, and it's probably not going to be as good because it's not our core product. So maybe it's a matter of, maybe I need to get on a call with Cardano Poppy, and when the time comes, and see if we can do something to collaborate on that front, because that will be an important part of what we are doing on the islands, the Spaces Islands, basically.
Nice. So another good question from Methagy. How do you restrict non-NFT holders from making hundreds of Nami wallets to essentially play all day and get around any energy restrictions for amount of play per day?
We're still considering that solution, um, and we haven't truly found a solution just yet, because some of these maybe looking at IPs is one example, but then there's VPNs. Looking at maybe it's the how many new wallets are being built, and then how they're interacting. Right, there's some of the things that we're trying to introduce. For example, if you create 100 wallets, and all they're doing is coming in and maybe playing, spending the energy, and that's it on a daily basis. I think we need to understand some of these interactive environments, and then looking at that data. That's actually quite data or metric intensive, right? Because you're using an algorithm based on how they're interacting with the game to make a decision. So we haven't really found a solution just yet, but we're having these conversations with both our game devs, but NFT Maker Pro, and eventually there's the smart contract devs who come through, who will hopefully will shine a light on some of these issues.
Yeah, I mean, I had some ideas popping into my head, and I was jettisoning them just as fast. I have to admit that's not going to be an easy challenge to solve. That's for sure. Um, so yeah, feel free to keep firing with any questions you guys may have. In the meantime, um, if there's is there anything that you guys wanted to touch on that I've missed or anything like that?
No, I think we've essentially covered everything, but just a little bit of details about our upcoming mint.
Oh, definitely,
So
definitely.
yeah, so the Daisuke Clan fully animated 8,888 NFTs. As I mentioned, it's a four in one. You get four different items in each NFT related to your ninja. and it's happening on the 21st of May at 8 p.m. UTC. There is no whitelist, it's a public sale. But if you hold ninjas from season 1 and 2, you get discounts linked to those. So essentially, if you hold 5 ninjas mixed from season 1 and 2, you'll get 5% off. And if you hold 20, you'll get 20% off. And the cap is 20%. And the second thing is if you hold 15 ninjas from season 1 or season 2, so not together, but 15 of each, you'll get one free season 3 airdropped into your wallet as well. So it's happening on the 21st, 8 p.m. UTC, 60 ADA. But of course, if you hold 20 ninjas, then it's going to cost you 48 ADA. And you have to send the full 60 ADA. And when you receive your NFT, you'll also receive the cash, the ADA back for the discounted amount. And it's compounded. So let's say you have 5 ninjas and you're getting 5% off, and you decide to mint 10 for season 3. All 10 of them will be 5% cheaper. So that's essentially how we're going. Again, trying out something new, and we've been quite lucky and fortunate that, NFT makers sort of gone, oh, you guys want to do this? Well, we'll work on it and make it happen. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're really excited for the mint. I know a lot of people are pumped. We as devs don't mint ourselves, but I wish I could mint my clan. Well, I wanted to mint all the clans, but I wish I could mint once again. But yeah, we'll be seeing what everyone gets, and we're super, super pumped. So come join in. And if you pull one of the rare 1-for-1s, as a lot of they feature as some of the protagonists in our manga comic. And, they're obviously unique in each and every way. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I'll be examining my ADA bag and wondering what I can jettison to be able to maybe sneak in on this one, I think.
That's awesome, mate. That is awesome.
So I don't think we have any more questions coming through. So I guess this will be about the time to say thank you very much for you guys getting up at whatever stupid o'clock in the time in the morning it was. And a very big thank you to everyone that's come out and listened to us. Really great questions.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks, team. It's good seeing on the Ninjas fam around here as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, ToolSin. Appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, and if you're one of the lucky people to be watching this on YouTube, feel free to give it a like and a share, and point your friends to it, and we can perhaps bring this to a wider audience.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye bye.
Cheerio, everyone.